What we got here?
Hi, Coach. We're going to get started in just 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the NCAA March Madness postgame press conference featuring Purdue. We will be hearing from Coach Matt Painter first, followed by Jaden Ivey. We will be getting started shortly. Please check your settings to be sure you are identified by name and affiliation. You will only be called on if you are properly identified. Thank you.
Hi, Coach Painter. We know you have your time is valuable, so why don't you go ahead and give us an opening statement while we get our video feed squared away,
Right.
And then we'll get ready to do questions. Thank you.
Right. Well, congratulations to North Texas. I thought they played a great game. Well-coached team, shot the ball well, very stingy, very, very good on the defensive end. Really made it a point to try to take us out of what we wanted to do from post-ups and especially to start the game. And, just overall, I was just very impressed with North Texas. And our guys played obviously a much better second half. Obviously, when you make more shots, that helps. But we really put ourselves in a great position and played well for that stretch and went into a little bit of a lull there, obviously with a front end of a 1-and-1. I think an and-1 at one time, and maybe another front end where we had missed 3 or 4 free throws. I'm not sure exactly on the number in that stretch under 5 minutes where we were doing really good things, making shots, getting fouled. And I thought that was kind of a key stretch. Obviously, we still made enough plays and got enough stops to put the game into overtime. But I thought that was a key stretch right there. If we could have knocked some of those down and got that lead and got them on their heels a little bit, especially if we could have got it to a 2-possession lead. But we didn't, and give them credit. And I thought our guys did a good job of just hanging in there. And then, we did not play well in the overtime. And just had a series of possessions there from offense, defense to start the overtime. Where we didn't execute, and then they're able to score the basketball. But once again, congratulations to Coach McCaslin and their players. They're a fabulous team, and it just stinks. We got a good group of guys, and you just want it for them. You just want them to have this success and be able to win games in the NCAA tournament in advance. But this is also part of it.
All right, we will now be going to questions from the media. Please use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. Again, you will only be called on if you are properly identified, so please say your name and affiliation, as our coach and student athlete will not be able to see you. Brian Newbert, we're going to start with you. Please unmute.
Matt, a lot of their offense seemed to come off dribble penetration. What was the issue there for either your team defensively, or what problems were they creating off the dribble where they were able to get those rhythm threes?
Yeah, they were really trying to search out, some matchups that they liked, especially at the start of that second half. We had a series of breakdowns, and then they were getting some matchups that were tough for us. But, I thought we did a good job. When we contained the dribble and kept them out of the paint, I thought good things happened for us. When they got too deep on the dribble and they got in there and, they made plays, and that was their thing, and that's what we really had, discussed and talked about. We thought that was a big emphasis, that we had to, do a good job of keeping out of the paint, and at times we did, and at times we didn't.
All right, our next question will be from Tom Brew.
Matt, Tom Brew, Sports Illustrated, Purdue. You got a lot out of Isaiah Thompson tonight. It seemed like he gave you a spark when you really needed it. Can you talk about his role tonight?
Well, I thought he did a great job. We felt, his ability to make a shot. He didn't turn the basketball over. He did some good things defensively. They couldn't search out, matchups with him. as much. We wanted to put more quickness out there on the floor with him and Eric Hunter and Jaden Ivey in the group, just because they're so good off the bounce. But I thought Isaiah was great. I thought he gave us a really good lift on both ends.
All right, our next question will be from Mike Carmen.
Yeah, Matt. Why was it so hard to play through the post on the offensive end?
Right. Well, they just took it away. They just stayed in there on both sides when there was people in there, and they were making those guys just be a passer. And I thought Zach did a really good job in the first half of just making some simple passes and moving the ball, and it generated some good shots. And I think one of them was Isaiah's three when he subbed in, and Travion. When they came and got him a couple times right there, when he would just make that simple play, it was really effective. But keeping the ball in your hands too long, while they're putting a guy to your left and right and your defender, we had to move it at those times. And when we did that, when he got one-on-one the second half more, he was effective. Obviously he got some things off offensive rebounds, like Mason did too. But they just loaded it up, and they were going to force us to make some shots and force us to make that next play. And I thought when we did those things, we got quality shots. Obviously, in the first half, we didn't knock those down, but we also rushed some things. And, we just had to do a better job. It's not like anything that we haven't seen. I think they emphasized it a little bit more and, made us, beat us in that area more from the perimeter than probably other people do. But I thought it was nothing a whole lot different than anybody else have done. Like I said, I just thought they did it a little bit more and just held in there a little bit more to make those guys more decision makers and passers instead of scorers.
All right, our next question will be coming from Bob Kravitz.
Yeah, Matt, what was your message to the guys after the game? And also, what do you want your young guys to learn from this experience?
Yeah, I didn't hear the first part, Bob. I heard about what do you want your young guys to.
Yeah. Also, what was your message to the team afterwards?
It's tough. Like we have a good group of guys. We have good people on our team, and they care about the game and they care about each other, and just want them to have the experience of winning a game and getting back to the hotel and get ready for your next opponent, and that feeling that we had a couple years ago when we got to the Elite Eight. You just want that for them, and just appreciative and thankful for everything that they do. And as a coach, like you're on your guys, like you're on them, like you want them to get better, like you're there and you want them on edge and you want them to improve. But when it's all over with, like that goes out the window a little bit. You're just you're thankful. We have good guys in our locker room, and as a staff, we've worked really hard to put together a team that Purdue will be proud of. And but it's difficult. Like you're not real good, just like I am right here, of kind of putting words together to really let them know how you feel, and because they're hurting, man. They're hurting. No one was out there trying to miss a jumper or have a breakdown on the defensive end, and you're trying to do everything in your power, and our guys are they're grounded, and we respected the heck out of North Texas. This wasn't one of those games where anybody was looking past them. I made sure I talked to them about Grant McCaslin and his path, and the talent on their team. And a lot of times people talk about things and picks and different things, but as coaches, man, you respect other coaches and you respect other players. And our guys definitely respected North Texas, and they were just a little bit better than us today. But I'm proud to be their coach, and I'm happy to be their coach at Purdue, and I'm very grateful of that.
All right, our next question will be coming from Kevin Brockway with CNHI Sports.
Yeah, Coach. Were they as quick as they appeared on film, or did their quickness catch you guys off guard at all?
Well, I think they're pretty shifty. They have a lot of guys that can shoot. I think the one thing, their ability to make some shots, and they have guys that have good percentages. So the guys making shots tonight aren't guys that can't shoot. Like the guys that made threes for them, are guys that that can shoot the basketball, and we wanted to give attention to, and they were just searching out certain matchups and trying to break us down. And, we obviously had some breakdowns, but we also did some good things against it. And, and they had some tough possessions also. But they're good players, just across the board. They have some skilled guys, and they have some guys that are shifty that can break you down and get into that paint.
All right, our next question will be from Nathan Brown with the Indy Star.
Coach, a second consecutive game with you guys able to work off of a deficit going into the second half, and then things kind of fall off a little bit in that overtime. Did you see anything in this overtime period that you recognized from that game against Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament?
Yeah, it's obviously a great question because I talked about that before our overtime. I didn't feel like against Ohio State we had I used the word energy. I just said, hey man, you got to have energy here. Like you got to be ready to go. And I thought against Ohio State in that overtime, and to Ohio State's credit, they made more plays than we did. But I also felt like, we gave so much effort to get back into that game at Ohio State. Did we have enough in our tank right there? And I didn't talk about it before we went out Ohio State. Obviously, we fought really hard to get in that position. Now we're down 8 at half, and we just couldn't get over that hump and get that lead to finish it off. And so we get into overtime, and that was my discussion before. Let's have overtime. Let's have energy. Let's be ready. Let's be simple. Let's hit singles. And we just didn't have a good start. And it was something we discussed about. Once again, like all the questions that have been asked are really good questions because it was let's be simple. Let's put them into a bind. Let's break them down. When they overhelp, let's get the ball moving, whether that's off drives or post-ups, the same thing. But let's also keep them out of the paint, and let's just have energy and make effort plays, make those 50-50 plays. In just the start of the half, those first 4 possessions, 2 offense, 2 defense, just put us back on our heels.
All right, and then our final question will be from Steve with the Associated Press.
Thanks for talking to us. I was just wondering, the Big Ten was regarded as potentially the league's best conference pretty much all season long.
Correct.
3 of the teams are out already with you, Ohio State.
I can't hear you.
The Big Ten was regarded as potentially the top conference in the league all season long.
Right.
You all have 2 teams eliminated so far. How surprised are you by the way the tournament has started for the Big Ten, and how much of a accurate gauge of a conference's strength do you think the NCAA tournament is?
Yeah, well, obviously don't have a pulse on what's gone on so far. Obviously, Michigan State lost in overtime. We lost in overtime, and I think Ohio State lost in overtime too, if I'm not mistaken. So you're going to get into close games in the NCAA tournament, and obviously matchups, are what drives the NCAA tournament. Those numbers don't matter. And you got to be able to go out on a neutral court and perform. But we had a great year this year. As a conference, I think a tough from 1 to 14 was obviously the best conference. And obviously when you do that and you get the most teams in, and then you have some really close losses, people want to push back and say, well, didn't maybe have quite the year that you thought. No, we had a great year as a conference, but you're 1 point away in 3 different games of winning, and you don't win, and that just, we won it for our conference. There's not anybody out there in our league that's not fighting to try to win for themselves and win for their conference. But I understand the question, but it was a pretty sticky league this year.
All right, thank you, Coach Painter, for your time today.
All right, thank you.
We'll be joined momentarily by Jaden Ivey. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary. Thank you. All right, we are now joined by Jaden Ivey, and we'll begin the press conference. Again, please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question, and please state your name and affiliation so they know who's talking. When you are called on for a question, please state your name and affiliation and unmute. Our first question will be from Kevin Brockway with CNHI. Kevin, you're good to go.
Yeah, Jaden, a lot of momentum in terms of coming back at the end of regulation. Why do you think it didn't carry over into the overtime session?
I just think overtime was, a killer. We just, we turned, the ball over a couple of times, took some tough shots overtime, and they made some tough shots, man, overtime, and we just couldn't, recover, and that's basically the game. We had a chance to put it away, but I mean, we just didn't have it, and I feel like I could have done a little bit more, but it's tough. This is definitely tough, and North Texas played a hell of a game. Gotta give credit to them, but we could have won the game, and it sucks. And we got some good guys on this team, and in the locker room, everyone was going through it, and it just shows everyone loves this team, and loves everyone, and this team's a family, and we're gonna get through this, and look forward to next season, and but we'll remember this going into next season, and we'll remember how it felt, but yeah, it's just it sucks.
Right, our next question comes from Mike Carmen.
Yeah, Jaden, Mike Carmen, Lafayette Journal and Courier. I mean, how do you go about processing this after the regular season that you guys had, and then finishing with back-to-back losses in overtime and tournament play?
Sorry, Foreman, can you turn it up a little bit? I can't hear.
Guys, we can't hear you very well. We can't hear you very well. You might have to speak louder, please.
Okay, Jaden, I mean, how do you process these last two losses after a really good regular season, and trying to get through this as you guys head to the off season?
It's just tough. It happens. You lose games. You got to recover from it, and obviously it's in the postseason, but the two games that we lost, we had control of the games. Going into OT, and we just couldn't get over the hump, and everyone says we're a young team. I mean, we just weren't experienced in that aspect, and trying to get over that hump. We have to get over it next year, and it sucks, but there's always lesson to learn. When you lose games, and I'm just proud of everyone's fight. We could have backed down. We were down the whole game. We didn't. We forced it into OT, and just won 5 minutes. It's all we had, and we just couldn't get it done.
Our next question comes from Brian Newbert. Brian
Newbert, GoldenBlack.com. Hey, Jaden. Why were they so difficult to score on there in the first half, especially? What did they do defensively that was especially problematic, if any?
Nothing special. We just, they came down and, hit some tough shots, and, I feel like first half it was just, about getting rhythm. I feel like, Trey was, trying to find himself in the first half, along with Zach. Sasha had a, good first half, and, Eric was trying to find himself in the first half, and but we didn't give up going into the second half, and we just didn't back down in the second half. We got some open looks to the basket, some and ones. We made some key rebounds in the paint from Mason, and going into that the second half, the end of the stretch, we just we hit some tough shots, and we were able to force it into OT, and OT was just a killer. We just couldn't finish it.
All right, our final question comes from Tom Brew. Tom.
Jaden, Tom Brew, Sports Illustrated, Purdue. You guys, you don't have any seniors on this team, and your freshman class did a whole bunch of great things this year. I know this game just ended, but do you kind of look at this as more of the beginning instead of the end?
I think, I'm about to get in this gym. In the next couple of days, I'm about to get back in this gym. And it's off season. That's it. I'm gonna just, use this as motivation. And I'm just gonna keep working, keep my head down, and I know I'm gonna bring my teammates along with me. And I'm just gonna make sure they're good. And this sucks. This is tough, but we got to move on. And it just wasn't our year. And we just couldn't pull it out today. But we got to move on. Keep our heads up, stay positive, and we just gotta keep working because we got a talented team, and I think we can win a natty in the future. And but we just gotta keep working.
We actually have one more question. This one comes from Brian Newbert.
Brian Newbert, GoldenBlack.com again. Jaden, the way you've played the last 5 or 6 weeks, what do you think lies ahead for you in terms of how good you can be? Have you put any thought into that yet or anything like that?
My thought is just winning. Honestly, whatever I can do, to win games. That's what I want to do. I just, try to keep my head up. This season's been, up and down for me. And, I could have given up, but I didn't. And, I just give props to, PJ, Coach Gav, our strength and conditioning coach. I give props to Coach Painter. He's, told me to keep my head up, and just stay positive. And I just, thank all those guys for, getting me through, a lot. I just was in my head, a lot this season, and, it sucks, but, I got to learn from that, and, I'm still growing in that aspect. And, but, this off season, it's going to be, a great off season. I feel like, it's just another chance for me to improve, on my game, and other aspects of my game, flaws in my game that I have, whether it's defensively, I feel like I can improve, so much defensively, and, to help, my team win. And, I just think, we just got to keep our heads up. Obviously, this is so tough. Probably one of the toughest losses I've ever, experienced in my career playing basketball. But, we just got to keep our heads up and, just grind it out. That's all I'm going to say. Just keep working. So, yeah.
All right, and our next question comes from JD Arlen.
Jaden, you've been playing basketball for a long time. Can you equate this to any loss in your career in years past? I mean, how does this feel different post game than maybe loss in years past?
I think, I just think this one's so tough because, we come all the way back the whole game, down the whole game, and then, we force it in OT. It's a boost of energy, being down the whole game. And then, we just fumble the bag, we can't finish it. And it's just tough, and, that happened against Ohio State. We just couldn't finish it. So, yeah, this is definitely the toughest loss I've ever experienced. And, hopefully we learn from it as a team. We're going to have to. We can't, come in the NCAA tournament and lose again in the first round. I just, we can't go for that. We got to have, everybody on the same page next year. And, this one's tough, but, got to learn from it and deal with it.
Thanks.
All right, if there are no further questions, thank you, Jaden, for your time. That's it for this post-game press conference. A transcript of the coach's interview will be provided